in the world. It's always this reminds us that we live life and we win the victory in the valley.
You better.
Oh God, I'm gonna preach this thing this morning. It's a reminder that we live life and we win the victory down in the valley. We go to the mountaintop to be empowered. We go to the mountaintop to experience God's goodness. But we experience His power. We experience the victory down in the deep dirt of the depths of the valley. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thy rod and thy staff they comfort me.
My God.
Jesus.
Amen.
You can't live life in the mountaintop forever.
Right.
You got to roll up your sleeves. Because time doesn't stop. Life does not stop moving because you don't want to keep living it. You got to roll up your sleeves and roll up and say, no matter what may come my way, He is with me in the valley.
Tell it.
He is with me in the valley. We live in the valley, but we're empowered in the mountains.
Right.
We live life in the margins in the valley. It's in chapter 5 in our text this morning that we see the Israelites, a generation born in the wilderness, now become grown men and grown women. And God commands Joshua to circumcise every male because they had not been circumcised yet. Where are my males at in here? Where my males at, right? The Lord tells Joshua to get a flint knife. I wish I could grab a picture to show you how intense it was. If it was just men, we could be a little bit more unfiltered. But now he tells him to grab a knife and to circumcise every male child. Historians say that there was about 2.5 million people who came out of Egypt. And they said most of them, about 50 to 60% of them were children.
Right.
So that means we're talking about at least 1 million having to be circumcised. It was a religious and a cultural practice that at 8 days old, every male child should be circumcised by their father. I'm going to say that one more time. Every male child at 8 days old should have been circumcised by their father. But they find themselves growing up to be grown men, yet still dealing with an issue that should have been dealt with as a child.
Wow. Wow.
They find themselves growing up to be grown men, having to deal with childhood issues.
Crazy.
My God.
If that ain't the truth.
Now, I don't want to be too graphic, but we understand the body parts.
Yes.
The very part that is supposed to be reproduced is the very part that is being circumcised. My God. We are called to reproduce God's glory here on earth. But we cannot do that because we are carrying some serious issues. They've seen the Lord bring them through the wilderness. They've seen the Lord part the Jordan River so that they can cross it. Yet they could not get to the place of promise until they become circumcised.
Wow.
Can I suggest that the reason you can't walk in all who God has called you to be is because you are carrying some dead things that need to be killed and destroyed?
Wow. Tell it.
Can I suggest you cannot become all who God has called you to be until you deal with the realities of your past? Sometimes we like to say, I'm letting it go and I'm moving, but you cannot move forward without addressing issues that have happened in your past. Because you will grow up to become a man in body with a child mentality.
That's right.
God takes them through the wilderness, a place that is familiar. The wilderness, it's crazy. The wilderness is now a familiar place for them. The wilderness is a familiar place for them. God took them through a flooded Jordan River to a place that is unfamiliar, which is a place close to their destiny. Can I suggest that our unfamiliar place is a good place? Can I suggest that the places that don't make us comfortable
is where we need to be.
Is where we need to be.
That's right. Tell it.
God will often remove you from a familiar place and people and put you into an isolated and a strange place
Jesus.
so that you can solely depend upon Him.
Jesus, help me, Lord.
Not only were they in a strange place, but a good place, but they were a few miles away from the promised land. God will not only take you out of familiar places and put you in so that you can trust Him, but He'll put you in a distance of your promise so that you won't lose hope.
Oh,
He took them out of a place that was familiar, a place that they were able to cope with in unhealthy ways, and to a place that is not familiar, but it's close enough to their promise. See, it's far enough where I can't reach back and go to where I want to go, but it's in proximity so I can see where God is taking me. I posted on Facebook a post that said, when you have vision, you aren't distracted by what you see. When you have vision, you are not distracted by what you see. When we let go of things, it is important that we gravitate to what the Lord is calling us to. Because when we get in uncomfortable places, we will revert back to what is comfortable. I know the place is where it's causing you pain and sorrow. I know you've lost joy in your peace, and your happiness, and your love and your passion. But you cannot get to where God is calling you without pain.
wow.
I know you want to be happy again. I know you want to find your place of purpose. I know you want to be able to find your joy and your peace back and have your sound mind back. But you cannot get to the place where God is calling you without pain, because He uses pain to mold and shape you until He has called you to be.
Jesus.
Pain has a way to talk to us. When Mama told me not to do something, I wouldn't listen. When Auntie told me don't do it, I did it. When God Himself told me not to. Matter of fact, when the girl I wanted to be with told me not to be with her, I didn't listen. But pain has a way to talk to you.
That's right.
Keep it real.
They made themselves vulnerable to pain, but it was on their way to the promised land. Just look at your person. Just look at the person next to you one time and say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
Come on, say it with power. Say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
Don't run from it.
Don't run from it.
Just embrace it.
Just embrace it. Yes.
God will expose you to issues that haven't been dealt with, and generational curses that have been passed down to you, so that He can raise you up and to break those chains and create a legacy. It's verse 7. I'm almost done.
It's good, brother.
They could have been angry. They could have been upset. They could have been mad with their parents, because they should have been born into their promised land already. Some of us should have been born into stable families. Some of us should have been born into places where we could have been nurtured. We should have been born into certain family structures that allowed us to be who God has called us to be. Yet, we had to have been born in a different situation, have to go through the whole process to get there our whole lives. It's because of their parents' disbelief and disobedience that they had to wait to inherit the promised land. How you live your life will dictate the quality of somebody else's life.
Wow.
That's good. That's good.
You are not only living for you,
Amen.
but you're living for future generations.
Amen.
I'll put it like this. Somebody is depending on you to make it.
Amen.
Jesus.
I have 3 principles in closing. You can bring up the first one. And it says this: God will often show you a glimpse of your future, but there is a price to pay for it. God gave them a glimpse of their future, the promised land, but they could not possess it unless they were willing to endure the pain and to kill some things off. Second principle I want to give you is God uses people to bring forth healing, because we are never called to grow and heal outside of community. I'm going to say that one more time. We are never called to grow and heal outside of community. We must be willing to be vulnerable and transparent with our brothers and sisters in the faith. And the last principle I want to point out this morning is what we don't kill now will come up in our future and hinder us from walking in our purpose. I could preach that all day.
Yes, it will.
Grab my ear and lift my leg up.
Yes, it will.
I got the musician for it this morning.
Yes, it will.
Right.
I'll teach it. I'll teach it. What we don't kill now
Yes. Yes.
will come up in our future,
All the time.
and it will hinder us from walking in our purpose. What do you have to kill in order to walk in your full potential?
Oh, just,
What must die in your life for God to raise you up to your rightful place?
wow.
Is it yourself? Is it doubt? Is it unbelief? Is it low self-esteem? Is it your past failures? Is it being taken advantage of as a child? Is it the absence of a father or a mother? Is it negative thoughts? Is it people? Whatever it is, you got to kill it now. Something always has to die for something else to live. Something always has to die for something else to live. I'm closing. It was on earlier this week, I believe it was Thursday. Yes, because Wes texted me at 11 o'clock, asked me to do it. It was Thursday night, and there's a brother at our church who's been fellowship with about Jeff Perkins, who most people know he's been on dialysis for 5 years. And so we went to go visit him, and if you could just hear his testimony of how the Lord has kept his life, you would be blown and amazed. But in that story, he was telling us that you could put your name on a list in every state, in every state, but you have to be able to get there within 2 hours to be able to receive the transplant. So he needed a kidney. They removed their kidney because he had cancer in it, and so they ended up removing it. And he said he was praying, and he said, God, whatever it is. He said, and 5 minutes later, they called and said, we have your kidney, come pick it up. It was a young lady who was 38 years old. She died. But they were able to remove her heart, her liver, her pancreas, and her kidney, so that somebody else could live.
Mm.
One person died, but 4 people lived.
Mm.
Something in our lives have to die in order for the power of God to live in our lives. This morning, if the Lord has spoken to you at all, and you feel that there are some things in your life that you need to let go of, if you want to, the altar is open. If you want to come and stand with us and in prayer. But if not, if you just want to stay in your seat, that's okay. But either way, the altar is open if you want to come and you feel that God has spoken to your heart today. Because there's some serious issues that we're dealing with. If we look at the communities that we come from, it's not so pretty.